We're back, episode 22. Those of you who have been with us for the all the other 21 episodes, we appreciate you. For those who are just now joining us, welcome. Happy Juneteenth to everyone who is celebrating Juneteenth or even know what it is, even have a clue. Happy Juneteenth. Happy birthday to Tracy. We said happy birthday yesterday. Also, happy birthday to all the Geminis. If us Scorpios, we like y'all sometime, but it's okay. And congratulations to all those that have successfully joined us and stuck with us on the RHCSA. We're about to wrap that up, and those that are new, as we stated before in Slack, be kind to yourself. It is a transition. It is okay. It's okay not to know. What is not okay is that you don't start, and what is not okay is that you stop. So just be aware of that when you are looking at these videos or even trying to figure out stuff. Don't do the journey by yourself. Do the journey with others. I talk about this a lot, but again, we are a community. I don't know a community that can survive as we make efforts individually. We have to make efforts together. All right. With that being said, let's go over to our window where we're talking about, okay, how do you get in touch with Women in Linux? Where else can I find you? You can find Women in Linux everything at Women in Linux, every social media locations at Women in Linux. You can also connect with us on Slack. You can do that by hitting womeninlinux.org, hit connect. You can also hit us up on email as well too, and you can find that on the site as well. All right. So how else can you get merchandise? You can hit the shop here, and that'll take you over to the merchandise that we have. We also have been doing giveaways on our streams. We'll be back at 2 o'clock with Mr. Vladimir Vivian to discuss programming in Go, and just a slew of other ideas around Go. We actually did like a job review last week and went over just all the videos that we have presented. Another one on here is like, hey, well, what if I don't want to do any of those things? I just want to donate. Well, you can hit the donate button here. You can also hit us up inside of Slack of other ways to donate. And as well, it's not just donating with your money, it's also donating with your time, which is super important for us when we're going through that. All right. Let's see some comments. Let me address those real quick. Yep, Bobby, you still got to join Slack. I mean, it's a lot of information that's being shared there. I'm gonna open up today with some different topics, and then I'll get into the topic. And it was just something that I just saw, and I need to post a video. It's in my history. But anyway, there is. I know you all are familiar with Wall Street Trapper, and if you're not, check him out on Instagram and so forth. But anyway, he had this video, and I guess I should pull it up because I just want to go through the screen capture of that video real quick. And let me grab that video real quick, and I'll bring it over. But behind the video, uh, he was actually talking about somebody had made a post about the $100 billion club. Like we always talk about the $1 billion club, but there is a $100 billion club, right? So let me pull this over to here so you all can see it on this screen, right? And in this $100 billion club, we have Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Warren Buffett, and I can't see Sergey Brin, Larry Ellison, Larry Page, and Bernard Arnault, right? And so, in this conversation that he's having, and I have not finished, as you see, I have not finished this, but as you see, one of the things he said in here is they all made investments, right? But the key takeaway that was the most important thing to me as I was watching it up to this point, and it's something that I say all the time. They also made investments into themselves. And so, with that being said, by joining Women in Linux and by being in a community, it's an investment into yourself. It's not an investment for me, right? Like that, it's not, it doesn't help me. I'm here to help you. We are here to help you. We're here to help each other. So if you don't take the time to attend the meetup, or if you don't take the time to invest in yourself, then what results are you really expecting, right? So when we're talking about this, make investment into yourself, and make sure that you are making sure that you are holding not just yourself accountable, hold each other accountable. If you don't see someone, reach out to them. Hey, hadn't seen you in the meetup. Hey, hadn't seen you post anything. Are you okay? Right? Check in on each other. Right? That's the reason why we have the community. You don't always assume someone is okay. All right. So, we're here to build, we're here to create wealth, we're here to create talent, we're here to give you more talent, we're here to show you how to get, all those things. Right. And if it's something that we are not covering in Women in Linux, let us know. Maybe you could cover it. I don't know. But just let us know if everything that you're receiving is okay, and if something that we need to cover, let us know about that as well too. Or you didn't like what we covered. All feedback is welcome. All right, all right. That's my soapbox for today. All right. So, what I did want to bring up was I was going through just different links and whatnot, and I don't know if everyone is familiar with the different I don't want to say indexes, but I guess we could say that indexes, right? So, are you familiar with the Russell Index, or have you ever heard of the Russell Index? And so, I want to get. I was looking at, what does that look like, right? What does the Russell Index look like? So let me expand my screen so you get a whole screen view there. All right, so the Russell Index is doing a rebalance, and they do it every year on the last, I think it's this, I think the last Friday of June, right? And so what they do is they go back over the market and to find out what particular companies are going to be on this index. And there's several of these different indexes. And I don't know if anybody's ever paid attention to, like, you know, what's on these indexes and how they're making moves. So I just want to give you some information, and I have to do some more digging as to uh, the correlation of how, when this particular market moves, and how does that affect the S&P 500, because this is actually in some instances it's actually a global market when we're talking about this. All right, so when we look at this, one of the things I want to bring out, and let me make this a little bigger. Right here it says on excuse me, on the last Friday of every June, FTSE Russell refreshes the components in its range of indexes, such as the Russell 2000 index of small cap stocks and the Russell 1000 index of the large cap names. Together, they make up the Russell 3000 index. And there's also style indexes such as the Russell 1000 growth and the Russell 2000 value. And I don't know if anybody's ever paid attention to these, right? It says right down here at the end of 2020, about 10.6 trillion in investors' assets were benchmarked to the Russell's U.S. indexes, according to FTSE Russell. Right? We heard about the Nasdaq, heard about all these other ones, but here's the Russell. Right? Here's the Russell market capitalization for the Russell 3000 index, vaulted from 31.4 trillion in 2020, And today, well, not today, rank day on May 7th of 2021 is 47 point trillion. Right. And so they go a little bit more into, I'll decompose this link as to give you more about the breakdown of this particular index and so forth. And then I'm going to go into some of these right here, the 1000 and the 2000 I go into, but there are others. But you can see right here they talk about the market cap, what's in there for the 1000 and well, right here they're just talking about the 2000. um but they go into a little bit more information, and you can start digging down into this a little bit more. This article is as of June 18th, right? So it's fairly recent article, right? Yesterday. All right, so let me give you some more information on this as well too. All right, so let me go. This is from Investopedia, that I'm about to post. All right. All right. So here they talk about, and let me make this bigger because I know it's probably coming in a little small. All right. Here they talk about the Russell 3000 and its market capitalization, equity index, U.S. market, and it says right here key takeaways. The Russell index is a market capitalization weighted equity index. The index tracks the performance of 3,000 largest U.S. traded stocks collectively for roughly 98% of all the U.S. incorporated equities. It also talks about large cap stocks direct a majority of the index performance. And so they talk about how they break this down. And as you can see here, they got it broken down into a large cap for the Russell 1000 and then a small cap for the Russell 2000. So those are two separate indexes, large and small, and together they make up the 3000. But you can trade just on the 1000. You can, bet against the 1000, bet against the 3000, I mean the 2000, or together you can do them collectively. And then they just kind of go into like what's in those securities. So I want to bring to you today, what's in those different securities or different indexes, if you want to break it down that way. All right, so now let's go and look at the 2000. Let me grab that here. 1 second. All right, so here is the 2000. All right, so make my screen less smaller. Let me go back down. Hopefully you can see this on here. Let me see what it looks like to you all. All right, that looks bad. Let me blow this up some. That better. That's a little better. All right. So as you see here, these are the performance of the Russell 2000 stocks. All right, and then they got AMC, Plug, GameStop, Novavax, Penn National, Gaming, and all these numbers that are here are in the billions here. Sunrun, Darling, Lithium Motors, Deckers Outdoor, uh, Builders First Source, Fate Therapeutics, Yeti, Churchill Down. So again, you've heard of some of these: Marriott, Vacations Worldwide, First Financial Bank Shares, BYD, Boyd Gaming, Health Equity, Texas Roadhouse, Silicon Laboratories, and the list goes on. Right? It's a entire list. It's 100 of them. Right? So that's on the. This is on the Russell 2000 stock performance of 2021. Now that is just one of them, right? So now let's look at the 1000. So here is the 1000. So in the 1000, you have Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Tesla, Visa, Bank of America, Pfizer, Netflix, Broadcom, Cost, um, it's all SUW, Charles Schwab, Zoom, Fidelity, Micron, ZTS, and so forth. So that's the 1,000. That's the 1,000 and the 2,000, and together they make the 3,000. Okay, and then I went on to search. Is like, okay, well, what other indexes do they have on for the Russell? So here is, and let me choose these cookies off, off, off. I hate this. All right, so here is the thing here. So you have the 1,000, the 2,000, the 2,500, the 3,000, micro cap, mid cap, the top 200, the top, the Russell top 50 mega cap, and the Russell top 500. And then they give their index performance calculators and methodology and what their Indica posts this one too, so you can do a little dive on this on what how they perform and really what is the meaning behind them. And then last but not least, I think this one is the FTSE 100. So let's pull this one up. Oh, I didn't put the H on there. That's why it's doing that. All right. So the FTSE 100, and then they have, and remember, some of this is international as well too, right? So they have the Barclay Group, BP, BATS, DCC, um, Glean up here at the top, and it's in going in alphabetical order. Anglo American, AAL. Let's see, go scroll down. Rolls Royce Holdings, the Sage Group, and so forth. So I just wanted to bring this up to you all so that you are aware that there's these other ones. Yep, yep. You invested, Kevin. You invested in the Russell 3000. How is that performing for you? So just this is just something, just another way, right? And if we go back to one of these links, there was a list of ETFs as well too, that was on here. Let me see. Let me pull up one of these other links. Let me go back to my doc, because there was a listing of Russell ETF. If not, we can just find it. No biggie. ETFs. All right, so here's the listing of, see, the 10 Russell ETF reporting. So this is from ETF.com. So this is on the fly. I hadn't researched it. So let's go dig in and see what they're talking about here. All right, so we have IWM, iShares Russell 2000 ETF. You see who under there, right? My peoples. My peeps. BlackRock. VTWO, Vanguard, TNA, I want to say Direxion, UWM, ProShares, URTY, ProShares, TZA, Direxion, ProShares, and BWS. And then they got information on down here, just for this particular website, on uh, on the ETF news for the 2002 Russell 2000 Index ETF news. So again, when we're talking about investing, this is just another way to look at where your investment is going. What's in something you may just want to invest in the ETF. Let's click on BlackRock here. This particular one. Can I click on that? I guess not. Let's go look it up though. IWM. Let's go look that up. Um, let's go to Yahoo Finance, and then let's go IWM. Let's see what we get. IWM. All right, it's a ETF, also ETF. Let's look at performance. So year to date, it has returned 61% on the year to date. It's 16%, but over 3 years, 12%. That's not too bad. We always want double digits. We see in 2020 it returned 19.89%. In 2019 it returned 25%. Right. So on a year average, it looks like it's a yearly of like 64.34 on the year, 12.94, and on the 5 year, it's a 15.97%. That's pretty good. And even at the 10-year run, it's at 11%. And I think what the S&P 500 is averaging around between 8 and 10%, right? I think it's supposed to lean towards 10, but I know sometimes it's been an average of 8. So 8 to 10 is what I'm gonna say the range is. So if you're beating the S&P 500 over a year time here and over a 5 year span, I don't know if it's every year, but just averaging that, right? That's pretty good on a return. So it would be something I would look into to invest. And that was IWM, which is the iShares Russell 2000 ETF, right? So let's go back over here and see what the other ones are doing. What is the Vanguard VTOW doing? Oh man, let me click on it. Look at that. Awesome. All right. Let's see, closing price ads. All right. So let's see. Mm, let's go over here back to Yahoo Finance and see if we can find performance. VTWO. Let me know if who else is investing in some of these as well too. So let's look at performance. Year to date 16. Yearly you're getting an 8% return. Okay, yep. Um, yearly year to date, a 1 year daily total return of 62 over 3 years, 12.36%. That's still pretty good. Um, we got at 1 year 65, 3 year 13.9, and 5 year we got 16, 10 year we got 11.92. Last year it turned 20%. The year before that 25, and 2018 was negative. 2017, 14 looks like it's over time. It looked like it started in 2010. Looks like it's been running okay. It looks like it's been running double digits. Besides those three, you know, that's still pretty good. All right, so that is the Vanguard Russell 2000 index fund, VTWO. And if you want to cross reference that with maybe if you have a Vanguard account, or if you have maybe I don't know if you got Webull or Robinhood or what have you. We'll look at those accounts and see if you see these in there, and see if you see a performance, like, compare data. We can look at a summary here and just see what they've been performing like for the week. Look like they're down. Let's see for the month. What is that year to high low range? Let me make this a little bigger here. Um, Day range is between 89 to 91. The week range, so they look like they had a low of 55 and then a high 94, and it's trading at 89. So it's on the up. Looks like is that their highest? Let's see. Let's go 1 year. Let's see if we have anything. What about max? So 89 minus that dip. So, but we know it can get up to 94. So seems like it's at this peak right now. But it's saying it's getting you a return. And then see, this was 3 months ago. Vanguard announces share splits for three other Russell's ETFs. So you just missed the split. So they just had a split of one of what it was previously for it to split. Let's see, what the three that it split on. Uh, so it's split on the Vanguard Russell 1000, and we just looked that up. And it's split on the ETF VTO, have all declared a 2-for-1 split, and the Russell 1000 ETF Growth ETF VONG has declared a 4-to-1 split. VONG. Let's look up VONG. All right, look, this is Vanguard Russell 1000 Growth Index Fund. Let's look at performance. So this one isn't okay. This one's got a 10% return so far, a year to date of 40%, over 3 years, 22.93. So the first year we get a 40% return, 3 year 23% return, 5 year 22, and 2 years 16.9. And then they have what they've been returning. Looks like last year it returned 38.34%. I mean, that's pretty good for the Vanguard Russell 1000. If we don't remember what's in the Russell 1000, let's go back to our document here and let's pull up the 1000 again, so we can see what that is. So in the 1000, of course, we got Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Tesla, Visa, J.P. Morgan, Procter and Gamble, Disney, ExxonMobil, Netflix, AT&T. I wonder if they're gonna drop them since they're not doing dividends anymore. Microsoft, QCOM. I mean Charles Schwab. The list goes on. So you can roll with this index, and that particular index, as we just saw, was returning about 40%. So that's pretty good over time. I probably have to go back on this. All right. So VONG 40% on a year to date, 23 if you're holding out for 3 years, and five if you're doing 5 years at 22%. And probably the average person is probably putting in about $10,000. So that's really how I've seen these ETFs work. If you're throwing $10,000 on the share, on the share on this ETF to get that type of performance back out. All right. Let's see. Webull, this stock is not supported for trading. Okay, yeah, try some other ones. You may have to try like a Fidelity or a Charles Schwab or something like that in order to um see that particular stock. And I think even when on Charles Schwab, I don't even think you have to log in to search. Let me double verify that. Research ETF. Let me see. I think you just pull up. No, this is just ETFs with Charles Schwab. Let me see something. Yeah, I can't remember. I have a Charles Schwab account, but I can't remember like if you could go directly to their site and just like do a search on other stocks. And if you're on, let me see. Um, Let me log in and see if it's in there. I'll let you know in 1 second. Let me get logged in. I'll tell you in a minute. Um, and let me know if any of these made sense to you, or if you found this information interesting. Because I should do a follow up on this. Because I was going through and trying to look at like, okay, well, where does the Russell come from? You know who, how does it affect the Nasdaq? Um, what does that look like? So, all right, let me do some research here. VONG. I'm logged in and I'll bring the screen over. All right, VONG. Yep. Vanguard Charles Schwab has it. Yep, Charles Schwab has it. All right, and make it a little bigger. on the wrong screen. All right. So Charles Schwab has it. They have their performance here. Let's see if it shows differently. So Vaughn, here's the S&P 500 right here. So you can see over time it's outperforming the S&P 500. Started out kind of small there, but right here like mid 2020, whatever the best 3 months of returns, it's starting to outperform, by a significant margin of S&P 500, right? And then that middle one is the large growth right here. And then they talk about the cumulative return, total return, but I go down here and look at this one right here. The Morningstar category, large growth, 1 year, 40%, 3 year, 23, 5 year, 22, and 10 years, 16. So same thing as what Yahoo is reporting as well. They also talk about year to date cumulative returns and annualized, right? So here they have a breakdown of what that looks like here, right? Okay. So not bad. It would be something I would invest in. Let's look, and then you can always go to the holdings and see what's in the holdings, and they have a list here. It's look like there's about 30 pages of listings, so which we do know, and then they talk about the top 10%, um, uh, Fong and large growth average, right? So it's even outperforming the large growth average there. Well, let me get off of that because it looks like it's changed. Top 10 holdings and then other. That's the way they got it out. All right. So that was VONG, and that just did a split of 4-1. Right. So that's pretty good. I like that. All right. So now my next thing that I have on the list that I did want to cover that I didn't put in my notes. Let me put this up here. Let me minimize this one. I don't know where the other one went. Let's see. Here we go. On another. All right. So let me pull up my biggest return for the week. Hold on. I didn't put it down. I said I wasn't gonna talk about it because I was like, oh, this one that may be too much. But let's talk about it. So if you can inside the chat, I just want to see what you have inside the chat. If you can post what your largest return was, your ticker symbol with the largest return, that way we can share information out with each other. And then, as always, I'm gonna look at jobs, so never fear. So let me pull up my my account here, and let me see. I can tell you what my largest was this week. All right. And when I say largest, I mean percentage wise. Of course, Microsoft is still up there, and it's been performing way better than Apple. You feel a flex coming on? No flex, no flex. ATOS. All right, we're gonna look up ATOS. We're gonna look at that. Let me see. No flex, no flex. Uh, PLTR, 77% here. But I'm telling you, like this right here has been working. Yeah, RKK 5 month period. Yep. Let me look up. This right here has been running, and I dropped some stuff in there, and I'm like, okay, well, I forgot I bought it. So Vuzy, VUZY, that has returned me 93%. All right, 93%. See, and I again, I started out small and I just been, chipping away and like, oh, I see you performing, blah blah blah, and I throw in there. So all right, so that's Vuzi. The other one was ATOS. ATOS. Let's go here. $5. All right, cool. What it look like here? What's the load? It was started out at 81 cent. Did you get in at 81 cent? That's low. Okay. So the 1 year's the one. So it looks like, let me see, year to date. All right, we'll see. ATOS, therapeutics. Look at that. That came out June 16th. What? The Russell 2000. About to get it. Oh, snap. You may want to get in there. Or you may want to roll with that Russell 2000. AAL 55%. I think I'm in AAL too. I think I'm in AAL too. Hold on. I'll let you know. See what AAL has been doing for me. Yeah, I'm at 44%. I'm at 44%. All right. Let me go back. Let me go back. It's no flexing. This is called sharing information. We're a community. That's what we do. Can you flex in the community? Can you flex in the community that everybody is winning in? All right, my other one is home. That has returned me 136%, 136.15% to be exact. Home has. Let me see if they're gonna be put into anything. We'll see if they. I'll go back. We should go back and look at that Russell 1000 or Russell 2000 to see if it's in there. All right, five. You can see this growth for a 5 day, right? 1 month, red, 6 months. You can see the trend line there. Year to date, 1 year. Right. So I think the 1 year. I don't think it's been around five. I don't think. There's no dividend on it, but it has been it has been serving me well. All right. And that one was at 136%. Um, let's see what the other one. This one right here, uh, HOFV, HOFV has been returning 80% return, 80.58 to be exact. Hall of Fame, Resort and Entertainment. All right, 6 months, year to date, 1 year we're down. So it's some room, some growth. So it's really should be up at 12, right? That was back in June. As you can see, that's this a 5 year. So I'll back we go back to 1 year. So you got some room in there, some room to play. All right, let's see what they got in here and what they talking about the Hall of Fame Resort. I didn't even know they had a Hall of Fame resort. Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company announces its membership until the Russell 3000. So if you're in the 3000, like Kevin is, it's already in there, right? I don't know if it falls under either the 1000 or the 2000. You would probably have to search and see which one it falls under, right? And of course, Mara has been doing some returning so far as well too. They're around 20 and 30%. Not they're not the 100s and the 98s. Those are the ones I want to be in. All right. Oh, you got in at $1.90. All right, cool. All right. So those were the Russells, the Russells, not Russell Wilson and Sierra, but the Russell ETFs, the 1000, the 2000, the 3000. I showed you the link for the other ones, so you can, and then I also showed you the link for the ETFs as well too. What does that look like? When we're talking about you making your investments, you can see those returns. Those were double-digit returns. It's beating the S&P 500. That's a good thing. another way to invest your money. And if you want to talk about it again, we have a channel inside our Slack called Creating Wealth. We don't just talk about just the stocks. We don't talk about just cryptocurrency. We also talk about buying land. Also talk about rental property, so forth and so on. What does that look like? We kind of talk about a lot of things, right? And as well too, we talk about jobs. This is what tech stocks and jobs is about, right? All right, so let's hit up our jobs, and this is going to be a transition from what we're talking about. I'm going off of some conversations that I have had with people in the Slack channel, and what like direction to go and so forth, right? So those that have been working with us, you studied for the RHCSA. I've shown you the array of pay ranges you can get with these jobs from 150 to 250 to 300,000 to 1.5 million. We've talked about this. We beat this with a dead horse. Now it's time for us to get our skills up and get after it. And when I say get after it doesn't mean get after it and just apply for the job. It means utilize the resources that are in the community. Hey, we introduce X, Y, and Z to you. We introduce this person to you. Go friend them on LinkedIn, but don't friend them on LinkedIn and never say anything to them. You need to speak to them. And this goes across the board for everybody. Like, and some of those people that we've introduced are in our Slack channel. It's just amazing that you all haven't talked to a lot of these hiring managers. I know for a fact it's like 10 different hiring managers in the Slack channel. And we don't, you don't utilize the tools that you have, right? So we've done a lot of the work for you. Now it's just time for you to do the work of applying, and speaking to those people. So one of the things that actually came up this weekend, I need to post this as well too. I'll be posting some jobs today. A friend of mine is looking for DevOps and DevSecOps engineers remotely and locally in Chicago. So I'll be posting those. The person that sent this over is actually in our Slack, and as it will probably be doing the interview process, right? You will probably be a part of the interview process with this person. So here's a way to get in. I think some of the jobs are part time. They're looking for some part time people and full time people, right? So remember, I always say use your tech skills to grow your money. Make your own dividends off yourself, right? All right, so let's talk about what we've been discussing all week. One was DevSecOps. The other one is once you get your RACSA, what should you go afterwards? What should you do next, right? So a lot of things that we talk about in Women in Linux and even in Tech Stocks and Jobs is, using Linux as the foundation, right? We just want to use that as our foundation. That's just what it is. All right, now I got this foundation. What do I do with it next? And the leap is vertical, right? Because inside the Linux courses or inside the Linux uh, classes, you learn about storage, you learn about security, and then you also learn about containers. So when I hear that, I think of a magnitude of ideas, right? So if I'm learning about containers, I should learn how to, one, maybe secure them, two, how to orchestrate them, and that brings into Kubernetes. There's also different platforms such as GKE, AKS, ECS, and the list goes on, even Azure, right? AKS, right? So when we're talking about what that foundation gives you, that foundation gives you just that, a foundation and then a peek into other industries. So with that being said, let's look at, because we've been showing the GKE, have not shown the Azure side of container management or even the AWS side. We've just been using GCP for right now. But some people have a lot of hesitation on, all right, should I go for my automation in Ansible? Sure. These are just all gonna be tools in your toolbox. You could go for Ansible, or you can go for Puppet, or you can go for Chef. You just have to pick which one you want that you're comfortable with. I say go with what you're comfortable with. What comes the easiest to you to learn. Like concepts should be what you're learning versus the actual tool itself. You should be learning concepts of configuration management, concepts of cloud, concepts of what it means to have container orchestration, and then once you learn the concepts, how to use them in individual classes, or when I say individual classes, meaning Azure individual classes or platform specific things, the concepts are going to be the same, just knowing how to use it on those particular platforms. So it's going to change. So let's look at because people ask all the time, should I get AWS? Should I get GCP? Should I get Azure? Get what you can get, right? So with that being said, if AWS is being given to you for free, go with AWS. If GCP is given to you for free, go with GCP. If Azure is given to you for free, go with Azure or Oracle. The whole point of the matter is that you're learning cloud concepts and how to use the platform and things surrounding it, which comes into cloud security and so forth. So since this is tech stocks and jobs, let's talk about what is it. Let's go and do. You just type in, and this is just something I show you all the time. Just type in GCP, right? You don't need to put in like I just autocorrect going on here. Don't need to put in like location or nothing like that. We're just looking for hits, right? And when I type in GCP, what how many jobs am I pulling back? 22,000 right here, and it's sorted by date, but that's what I'm pulling back right now. And then I can come up here and filter all that out. But I just wanted to show you, like, when you're looking, just like don't bog down with like being so specific just yet, right? Just see what kind of hits you're getting back, right? A director of GCP and GVP quality assurance. They're one of the therapeutic companies. Clinical director, and it looks like mine may be pulling by locations, so it still may be filtering on locations for me. So don't worry about that. I probably need to clear my cache so it don't pull locations. But again, and you can see this looks like it's some clinical stuff here. But again, we're just looking for hits like that are related to DevOps and so forth. All right, so that's that. Now come up here and you can type in AWS. And you need to do this on every platform. See, it's trying to pull by my location here. All right, so here we got 81,000. All right, then look here, 90% remote, 10% in the office in Orlando. You can see these pay ranges go up and down. I don't use their pay ranges because I think they're off, but that's just me. All right, so now we did AWS, we did GCP. Let's type in Azure. Azure, we got 54,000, and you can see, go through here and see what you see, right? Now, when you're talking about that's a cloud specific, right? Now let's talk about what does it mean to have cloud security. So if you're not familiar with, what cloud security is, let's go back and start looking at, well, we have Azure cloud security, right? And they have a security, well, not, don't use that security checklist. They actually on Azure site, if you click on here, you go to cloud security. They break down, they have a security, I think it's called security hub inside of Azure, where you can go through and start looking at, yeah, security center. Here it is. You use security center, and once you get into security center, it'll break down like, again, what do you want to do, what do you want to secure, different things that you want to do. You want to protect against DDoS. You want to use Key Vault. You want to do, again, confidential ledger. Just different things when it talks about security, and there'll be a breakdown of that. All right. So now, with that being said, when you think about cloud security, or you think about cloud security from an Azure perspective, or you thinking about it from an AWS perspective, you're just thinking about cloud security. How do I secure my cloud? How do I secure my web apps, my containers, my storage, my keys, my so forth, right? So and now let's type in cloud security, right? Because again, cloud security is not just pertaining to just Azure or GCP cloud security, excuse me, is across the board, right? So now we type in cloud security, we're pulling back 88,000 jobs, and you probably have to filter on those. But now you're starting to look at like, okay, what is it? What are they talking about with a cloud engineer? Their level one technician is starting at 50 to 75,000, and that's remote, right? And they're urgently hiring. So that's a level one. So this is probably like a beginner, and you're remote, and they're Windows focused, and they're telling you, what that is. So when you go and just type in, just it's really a broad sweep what I'm doing. I'm looking at it from the perspective of the number of hits and how often this word is showing up, right? But then I'm also going in and saying, okay, now that I've typed in that, right, there's cloud engineer, then there's cloud security engineer, and then there's cybersecurity ATO and policy analyst, and DevOps cloud security engineer. You start to see these things. My personal take is I would take this and I would write those names down, like how people have their job descriptions and stuff written out. And then I would take my time and then go through the job description. So okay, they want somebody with GCP, information security, Linux, work authorization in the US, and associate preferred. That's the degree that they're looking at. And that's paying from 90 to 100,000. So they prefer you to have an associate, but it's not required. So you don't even need a degree, is really what they're saying, right? And now you go in here and you break down what they're looking at. They give you the benefits, what we care about, what you would be doing, CI/CD. I talk about that all the time. Public sub, here we talk about Kubernetes and data proc. That's a GCP related. Then we extensive knowledge of several key security practices and access control and so forth, and develop API. You probably maybe getting underpaid for this one, but again, I don't go off of this. I go off of my experience and what I bring to the table, right? So when we're looking at these jobs and how to break them down, I want you to first start with a broad stroke. Then, as you start looking at keywords that are popping up from like what you were turning back, then you can start putting in a more direct targeted focus on the actual job search, and then cross reference this with monster.com, dice.com, LinkedIn jobs, levels, FYI, angel list, and look on LinkedIn for people who have these titles, or better yet, look on Twitter for people who have these titles and see what they're discussing every day. If you don't know about the field, if you've never been in it, or you're new to it, go look and see what people are discussing every day with those titles that are on Twitter or on LinkedIn. What kind of content are they pulling? And then, you know, two, don't be afraid to reach out. But 9 times out of 10, we have these very same people that are already in the group, right? They're already in Women in Linux. So we did have a question about what does it look like for a cloud security engineer versus an architect. So a cloud security engineer would be someone who's actually um, looking at the cloud standpoint, right? And this gets kind of hairy, and I'll say that. So, as a cloud security engineer I could be a cloud security engineer on a team, and my main focus may be to secure all the apps that are assigned to this particular department. right? So I may be responsible for just the application side. I could also be responsible for the storage side. I could be responsible for the keys. I could be responsible for the database. I could also be responsible for uh, uh, how they communicate with each other. So that means I may need to work with a network engineer. Now, as the architect, and this is just from what I have seen, is the totality of everything, right? Like the storage, the data, the everything, like a whole mind map, or I should say, a diagram of the of how data flows, and where do the logs need to be analyzed at, or who's receiving what laws are able to get pushed out. How to architect and design security for this entire infrastructure, including the applications, the code, where the code lives, how to access the code, all those things in terms of the architect. And it doesn't need to be just one architect, because I it may be several architects working together on a project in order to make sure they hit secure every aspect of it. And you, as the cloud security engineer, you may be working with the architect as well to design and architect this security posture and standard that's needed. I hope that answers your question. And you can look this up too, right? So let's go. We don't have to guess here. Let's go cloud security engineer, and then we'll go to architect. So this one is a DevOps cloud security engineer, and then there is a cloud security engineer, right? So let's just stick to the basics here. The cloud security engineer, applying security as code principles. Um, Oops, let me back out there. Applying security as code principles, automated framework for security tool, assisting the architecture and design of API and container security, Ada assisting with the architecture and the design of API security, container security, and AWS cloud security, right? So again, assisting with the design, right? So the architect is going to come in, they're going to have that idea, is going to have an overall view. And then you, as the security cloud security engineer, you may have this little group of people that you work with. So you may bring to the table, we need to include X, Y, and Z. That's, your goal is to help out that architect, right? Implement security features and monitoring tools, responding swiftly and to emerging security threats, where where required, investigate suspected attacks and help manage security incidents. Be integral part of that, and then they give you like an idea of what you'll be doing and what they want from you, right? So let's go back up here and type in cloud security architect. So now when we got cloud security architect, we'll look at BCT partners. They are uh, a fund, I believe. Let me see. I'm just trying to see if we got anything else that's coming up. All right, let's go back up here. Cloud security architect. All right. All right. Manages various data sources for relational. Well, let's start back up here. Zero trust architecture. This is the first thing you need to look up and find out what zero trust is. You also need to look up and see what, if they're in the cloud or on prem or what have you. But MongoDB collaborate with a team of developers and business analysts to build data schemes, data dictionary reports. They're data driven here. Not everybody's going to be needing somebody data driven for that. They do have similar roles, but they're different. Right. So again, the big overview, like this one right here, is data driven for an architect. This is a data driven security architect right here. That's what this is. And now everybody's going to be looking for a data driven security architect. But again, BC Partners is a financial institution, so I can see that all day long. Let's see if we can find another one. To do that. I may have to go to Dice or something like that to find another one. All right, so DevOps architect and DevOps security architect. Fine, I play with it. Python, good insight on AWS, DevSecOps, IDLE, Linux. They got DB2 platforms, so that's why you see AIX. That's an IBM thing. Lead architect, work closely with customer and mentoring and coaching DevSecOps best practices, right? So driving the culture really is, as the architect, is really what you're doing. You're like, hey, there's this new, cyber awareness training we want everyone to have. Here's why. Here's the beneficial of it. You're really driving more so the culture, the people, customer interaction, uh, and that customer could be you as the cloud security engineer or the customer itself. Marrying the two, pulling out the important information. You can almost kind of look, almost kind of say you need some project management skills there as well too, and understanding automation and CI/CD. Understand how, again, I hate to say it, but understand how data flows all the way through, right? And so work closely with the IT SWAT team to troubleshoot complex issues, contribute to continuing CI/CD process improvements. Again, you hear all these things as process improvements. You are looking, you're not really doing, you're kind of more like setting the tone of like, hey, this is the procedure that you should use if we get hacked, or here's the process that we want, here's the tools that we want to use, here's why, here's that, here's how we communicate that back to the customer. Will frequently interact with software leads and functional managers, and must possess excellent communication skills to foster team engagement and improvement. And that's really what I've seen out of these security architect. Let's look at the big picture, the big lens, where you as the cloud engineer may be, I don't want to say siloed, right? Because you may be a cross-functional cloud engineer. You may be working with multiple teams, but you're here working with a specific customer to get their stuff secured on this big platform that you may be managing or using cloud security against. So I hope that answered your question on that. I don't see any more questions and stuff in the chat. Again, we went over the Russell 1,000, 2,000, and 3,000. We broke down some jobs. We talked about investing into yourself. This is an investment to yourself every time you show up. And that's where I'm going to end it at. And I hope you all have a good Juneteenth. Yeah, engineers more hands on. A good Juneteenth. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy life. I won't say be kind to yourself, but be honest with yourself, and where you feel that you're weak, let's make sure we hold each other accountable and make each other stronger where we feel that we are each individually weak. All right, that's what the community is for, and that's why we're here. All right, see you again at 2 o'clock for those that are attending the two show with Vladimir Vivian. If not, I see y'all on next Saturday. For those that are in the RACSA class, I see you on Wednesday. All right, now.